So name that error. Lisa, the owner, my mom, she's the one who came up with this class, name that error. So the objective is to identify signing agent notary errors. We have a few more. We did this last time. I grabbed a few of those samples, but pretty much these are new documents with a few problem solving errors that I want you to see as well. So not just docs, but also kind of etiquette. Let's get right into it. This is an easier one. This is the new loan application, new 1003. Check it out. Raise your hand when you're ready. Let's go for Dyron. Oh, I think Dyron's hand disappeared. Oh, let's try Deborah. All right, there you go.
Are you there?
Hey, Deborah.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. I do have a few questions on this one.
Okay.
So, particularly the initials where it says I am joined as a joint credit.
Uh-huh.
So sometimes on page 1 and on page 2, there are initials, but sometimes on page 2, there are not.
Yeah. So
Okay.
what I hate about this form is that it really is different for every lender, it seems. But what will always be there is what you just mentioned under section 1A, if they're applying for joint credit. So yeah, those initials right there.
Then my question would be, sometimes I just have both signers' initial on this page and then again on the second page. And that's my first question. Are both supposed to? And then also next to it where they have their names, such as this one, I can't really read it.
Yeah, Maria. Yeah.
Would they actually create a signature there as well?
No. Okay. Yeah. So let's first with the initials. Like I said, every lender is a little bit different, but typically with this new application, each borrower will have their own section 1. And technically only the borrower that's listed. So at the very top here, it says Isabella Guerrero. She's the only one who would need to initial. Now, if the other person initialed, that's okay. They're not going to kick it back because more initialed on this form, not on other forms, but on this form. Okay. But you don't have to have them sign here. Oh. So I think the signature is under, I think, section 6. I know Elizabeth White can correct me. Yeah. But so they don't need to sign. One borrower must initial though. Whoever is listed at that top of section 1A must initial. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Then that really helps me. Thank you so much.
Yeah. No, thank you, Deborah. All right, she got it. So it's that initial right here. That's what's missed right here. So like we mentioned, if the borrower is applying for joint credit, they must initial here. If it's an individual borrower, no other borrowers, just one, they don't need to initial. If you have them initial, not a big deal, won't get kicked back. And if there are multiple borrowers, they should each have their own form. So they don't have to initial each other's, but if you have them, that's okay. So either way, just make sure there's an initial if there are multiple borrowers. All right, on to the next. Here's the notice of right to cancel. Let me move my participants box. So notice of right to cancel. Most important document for notaries to get right. All right, let's go for Linda.
It's missing the date of the signing.
Yep.
Up at the top, and it's also missing the last day of rescission.
Absolutely, you got it. That's right. Thanks, Linda. All right, so we have here notice of right to cancel. The dates are missing. This happens all the time. So the top date must reflect the signing date. And if you're a signing agent, you have to have your rescission calendar with you, your right to cancel calendar. I suggest printing a copy to have in your notary book or your notary bag and having it on your phone. every signing, double check the dates. So you might think, okay, I have 5 signings today. I know what today's right to cancel date. For example, if you're signing today, it's the 31st. Double check on every single signing. If you don't, you're going to miss it, or you're going to get it wrong, or you're going to count wrong. But you have to make sure these are filled in. We've heard notaries say, well, this is the lender's error because they didn't add in the dates. Nope. This is your error if you forget to have the borrowers fill this in, or if you don't know. So gotta fill those dates in. So you have the borrower fill them in, but you have to point those dates out and have them do so. Good job, Linda. That's a big one. It's one of the biggest ones. First off, let me tell you, or not first off, just in continuation, let me tell you why it's so important. This template is actually from a specific lender. This lender, if you miss those dates, and if it gets all the way to the lender and those dates are missed, the lender will make the borrower re-sign the form. And they don't allow backdating, this one particular lender. When you're not backdating for notarizations, of course, is a no-no. You don't want to do that. But sometimes borrowers will need to backdate their signature. It is just is what it is. But this lender doesn't require it, or excuse me, they don't allow it. So if the borrower signs this on the 27th, but it ends up that the notary didn't have these dates filled in, and then, September 1st comes and the lender checks this out and says, hey, there's an issue. The dates aren't in there. They're going to make the borrower re-sign the form using current date. And that means that the right to cancel is going to get pushed out 3 more business days. So what it can mean is that it delays funding. And we don't want borrowers' loans to be delayed, right? Delays mean money. Rate locks, yeah.
Well,
So
we just so we're clear, Coast to Coast had to pay a rate lock this week. So these dates are super important to make sure. And there's some questions going on. Do both borrowers have to initial? Well, if there's one, sometimes there's right to cancels for each borrower. Sometimes they're in one. If there's 2 signatures, 3 signatures, all of them have to be initialed at the top. If they place the dates in, or you place the dates in, they all need to initial. If it's only one signature, only one initial for each date need to be completed.
yeah. And just to go off of what Lisa said, that rate lock extension was due to a notary error. Notary didn't print an attachment, a big attachment, the loan documents. And it's going to cost us $1,000 for the rate lock. And then I had to pay a notary to fix it, which was $300. And then I had to fix another part of it, which I obviously didn't pay myself. I just did it. But it took me out of the office all day because I had to go to the Long Beach Marina and sign on a borrower's boat, which was kind of fun. But you get the point. Notary errors can cost money. So we, instead of making $50, which is what we were scheduled to make on that file, we now have to pay about $1,400 total for everything. Yikes, right? So be careful. Watch these videos. They're going to help you avoid those big, expensive mistakes. All right, on to the next, the note. This is the most important document for the borrower. What's wrong with this one? Okay, let's go for Leslie.
So the notary put their stamp on the side where it did not need to be.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, this is a big one. Notaries will stamp where it says seal. Now, if there's a notarization attached, heck yeah, that's what you have to do, right? You have to stamp your notarizations. But if it's just attached to the borrower's signature, you do not stamp there. There's another error on this. Can anyone catch it? Check on page. Okay, let's go for Rena. Her hand's up.
The first page on the top left corner, the date, it's crossed out and initialed.
Yeah, good one. Very good. Oh, here you go. So let's go over what's wrong. So just like Rena mentioned, that creation date. So the creation date is when the lender generated the documents for signing. So when it was supposed to sign. Do not ever, ever, ever change that creation date. Even if it's not the day that you're signing, that's okay. It's not necessarily meant to be. Some states it is, some lenders it is, but in lots of cases, that date can be in the past and that's okay. So don't change it. Now, it might seem like an easy fix if it's changed. Okay, well, the lender can print a new first page of the note, but some lenders won't do that. So it'll require a re-sign. And then the other error is that stamping where the signature line says seal. So again, that word seal on a signature line refers only to the signer's signature. You're not going to want to stamp anything that doesn't have notarization verbiage, right? And it actually is against the notary regulation to stamp something that doesn't have that notary verbiage or acknowledgement or jurat verbiage. So keep that in mind. Don't stamp, don't change creation dates. Next up. Okay, so this one is a little different. We didn't do that on our last Name That Error class. I'm going to give you 3 different situations and we'll tackle them one at a time. So number 1, this is a status update. So a notary entered this status when assigning, after assigning. So she's saying it did not sign. The reason, docs had errors. These are the comments. 1 page was not signed. Borrower needs to check with the lender before signing. We'll ship the rest out. So we marked it as did not sign. And then that was the comment. What's wrong with that? Let's go for Donna.
Oh, I'm sorry, Virginia. I was going to comment on the other one. About
That's okay.
On the bottom, he just signed Jeff Morris, trustee, rather than the full signature as it should be.
Okay, so pretty close. What it is on this one is that let's look at the special instructions. So on our site, the special instructions are property is in AZ, borrower is in Iowa, sorry. Then borrower to sign with their name only, no trustee. And yet the borrower wouldn't signed with comma trustee. So the error on this is that the special instructions said name only, no trustee, and they signed with trustee. So this one, we've got to follow special instructions. All right. What about these other ones? Number 1, 2, or 3? All right. Let's do special kiss blessed, please.
Hi, special case blessed. This is Karen Singleton. Okay.
Hey.
Hi. So on number 1, it's like he said that that the borrower didn't sign and that he wasn't, documents had errors comment, 1 page was not signed, borrower needs to check with the lender. So he should have, it sounds like that he's sitting over the whole document except for the 1 page.
Yeah.
Out, and he can't do that. Either take the whole package back and just stop the signing, or either or either have the borrower contact the lender at the table.
Okay, so this is what I think on this one. If everything was signed but 1 page, that happens. That's going to happen all the time. The status shouldn't have been did not sign. It should have been completed with an exception, right? There's 1 form. If a borrower has if there's 150 pages and 1 form, say it's the auto payment form, if they want to set up their mortgage on automatic payments, they don't want to sign that. They want to talk to the lender first, proceed with the documents, get the rest of them signed. When you update the website, you'd say signing's complete, and then just put that note about the borrower not wanting to sign that 1 document and ship the rest out. So what we think is that instead of did not sign, that's kind of misleading. It did sign except for 1 form. So next time that notary would have put completed with 1 exception, borrower refused to sign a specific form. They're going to talk to the lender. Let me know if you want me to go back out. I'm going to ship the rest of the docs. That's what our clients want to see on that one. But very good. All right. Number 2. This one is one of my favorite status updates that we've ever had, but it's kind of funky, right? So let's go for Leslie Blevins.
Okay. The signing went perfectly. I did not collect any plans. Must have been, she probably, or whoever probably meant to put funds.
Yeah.
Scan back, should have been scanned back. I've been taken care of, dropping the dogs at FedEx right now.
Yeah, that's right. You got it. This one is kind of silly. I love this. When I saw it, this is actually a real status update. When I saw it, I died. I thought it was the best thing ever. Skin backs. Ew, kind of gross. Sounds kind of gross. Dropping the dogs at FedEx. Love it. Love it. But our clients see that, right? Our clients see it. We don't want our clients to see it and go, oh my gosh, this notary's losing it. And probably this was done all voice text, right? So double check your voice text before you send out the message. I'm going to love that message, but our client might think we're ding dongs, right? So I don't want our clients to think that. You guys are super smart. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I am the worst texter ever. Everybody in our company will know I spell everything wrong because my brain is going faster than my fingers. So my typing is always crazy. But when it comes to our client, we want to do our best to sound super professional. I hope my clients don't know how horrible I am at typing and spelling. So slow it down, double check what you're doing. I know you're just moving too fast, but I am going to save these messages and read them to myself when I'm depressed. So keep that in mind too. All right. What about number 3? Number 3 is a big one. And even though this comment I entered, this really happened last week. All right. Linda, do you know the answer of this one?
Yes, I would say that the time delay of 7 days to receive at escrow is concerning. So maybe it got stuck in the trunk of the car.
Yeah, that's a wise guess. So what's funny about this is that this notary did pretty much the same as number 1. So she updated the status funky. So our clients thought it didn't sign. And then like 6 days later, the client's like, hey, borrower's saying they actually did sign, but 1 document. Called the notary. She had held on to docs for like 6 days. And then what happened, which was, it just was one of those mess files. I said, okay, real quick, scan the docs back to me. She uploaded 150 images. So I had to then convert those to PDFs. It took me 3 hours. And then it delayed the package 1 more day. So it was kind of a mess. She's a new notary. She was like, I'm happy to fix anything. But it was one of those, like, if it could go wrong, it did go wrong. So good job, everyone. You did great. We'll briefly go over it, even though we already kind of did. So number 1, update the status of the file correctly. A true did not sign. You only use that status of did not sign is when the signer sees the documents and refuses to sign anything. Or maybe they go through and they get to the note and they're like, I don't want to sign this. That's a true did not sign. If a signer refuses to sign 1 or 2 documents, you should still update the signing as completed, leave detailed notes so where everybody knows ahead of time, and then ship the documents out. Number 2, the dropping the dogs at FedEx. Proofread your notes. And like I said, I'm not being judgmental because if you read any of my messages to our team, you know, everyone makes fun of me constantly. But when it comes to escrow, lenders and signers, we want to make sure we make sense and double check our grammar, double check our spelling. 3, just like was mentioned, you want to ship your docs the same day as the signing or the very next, depending on when you sign. If you signed in the afternoon, FedEx already picked up, UPS has already picked up, you can ship them the very next day, but do not hold on to documents unless you are specifically requested to by the contracting company. Otherwise, drop them immediately. And then read special instructions. Number 4, about that trustee. And especially when the property is in the trust, do not assume you know the answer. Request clear instructions on how the borrower should sign. In this situation, the special instructions that you see on the order provided that information right there. You didn't have to go far. You didn't have to scream for that. This is right on the order. And that just leads to, in general, when you get an order, look at the top of the page. That's where the special instructions are going to be. Read them thoroughly. Read them for comprehension. A lot of your questions are going to be answered. So notaries will ask us a question, and then we just direct them to the special instructions because it's right there. So make sure to do that. Going to save yourself some time and potential headaches later on down the road.
Hey, Jen, we're getting a number of questions with regards to the application. Can you put up the corrected one and kind of go over that? Because I think there's a
Sure.
few questions about that.
All right, let's go back in time a little bit. Okay, so this is the way it looks when you get the form, right? If the borrower is applying for joint credit, so there's more than one person on the actual loan, they're going to need to initial section 1A, where it says, I am applying for joint credit. And it'll actually say the number of total borrowers. And then to the right, it'll say their names. Let's go to the corrected one. If the borrower is applying for joint credit, the borrower that's listed at the top must also initial. Now, if there are multiple borrowers, they're going to have their own applications, right? So they only really need to initial their own application. But if you have the borrowers all initial where it says, I am applying for joint credit, it's not going to get kicked back. It's just not necessary. So section 1A, there's going to be an initial if there's multiple borrowers.
Thank you.
No, thank you for letting me know. I can't see the chat, so keep them coming. All right, let's talk about, these are some tax forms, right? 1040, 4506 TC, W9. What's wrong with these ones? Anybody? Oh, let's go for Selena in Tillamook.
I was looking at the chat actually, and Katie was trying to wave, but she didn't know how to raise her hand.
All right.
There's a little happy face on the right-hand side above. Type your message here. If you click on it, there's all sorts of things, skin tones, and all kinds of emojis you can use.
Yeah. So Katie, if you can get your hand up. Otherwise, Lisa, can you read Katie's message?
Well, that was what she asked. First time, I'm not sure how to use the wave feature. That's just what she, I don't think there was anything else from her.
All right, let me show you.
Randy did ask, what if a lender types in the initials? Well, a lender shouldn't type in the initials, but if they do on that application, just have them initial next to that.
Nice. Okay, let's go for Kiana. Kiana, what's wrong on these forms? Can you unmute yourself? No? All right. Keep trying.
Is there a way? Yeah, because I have a DMV notary nurse wants to answer the IRS question, but I don't think she knows how to.
Okay. Oh, she's there.
Yay.
Can you unmute yourself one more time, DMV notary nurse? Oh, there you are.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, the first form on the left, thank you for having this training, by the way. There's no signature.
Yeah.
The second one in the middle, and what I've learned to do is have the signer check that little box first, so that way it's not forgotten.
Nice.
And the third one, I didn't even look at this, but it's probably because it's not signed. It's not signed at all or dated.
Nice. What's your name? Oh, it's DMV notary nurse.
My name is Alicia Rucker, and can you tell I've learned the hard way?
We all have.
Well, yeah, a lot of us have. That's why we're doing this training to prevent that, but very good. Exactly. These are little details, right? This 1040, this gets missed all the time. It's for you to sign, and it kind of doesn't look like it, right? And normally when it's included, it looks like it's a bad scan. So it's something that you could easily just like skip and hope that wasn't for you. It's for you to have signed. And then, yeah, that little sneaky box, what our notary just said is exactly right. Before they even sign it, point this little box out, have them check it, and then sign it. It's basically saying that the signer is the taxpayer in question on this form, and they have the authority to sign for it. You might not always get this kicked back, but someone's going to have to check it later on down the road, and it's really your responsibility to have checked. And then, yeah, go ahead, Lisa.
But if someone's wanting that circled, could you kind of to do your cursor where the
Sure.
little box is?
Sure.
There's the little
Right
box
here.
right above the signature on the 4506C.
Yeah, or T. It's always there.
Or T, yeah, or
Yeah.
T.
And then this is that W9. This is always about 6 pages long, right? Only page 1 needs a signature. And I always say it's about 3/4 of the way down. Signature and date. Good job. That was awesome. Yeah. Okay, just to highlight it, and I didn't realize I did highlight it before. So here's that sneaky little box. Here's those signatures. Kind of hidden stuff, but it's important. All right, here is a signature page of a deed of trust. So what do you guys think's wrong? All right, Wanda. Oh no, she disappeared. Let's go. She's there. Wanda, want to go for it?
Hi, good morning.
Hey,
Okay, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, so the second, Tyler Thompson did not put the date in, and let's see, for me, this is acknowledgement, no older. For me, I think should have been the notary, myself, the notary public, and then the date should have been the date of the signing, and then the name of the person acknowledged should have been on that line. And then they didn't initial it at the bottom.
Exactly. Okay, so let's go over the first 2 real glaring things. The date. Yep, Wanda, you're right, missing that date. Now, if this is missed on the deed of trust, it's either going to require a re-sign, or the notary is going to be shipped this form for you to go take it back to the borrower, get it dated, ship it back. Most of the time they're going to ask for a re-sign, but they might also ask for you to go back and get that one date. So it's really important that on those critical docs, deeds, writers, notes, right to cancel, you get it right the first time. Because even though you think, oh, maybe someone will just add that date, escrow will not add dates most of the time. Lenders will not touch documents like that. So make sure to double check those dates. This happens all the time. And then that missing initial. This happens a lot where it's on that notary and signature page that the initials are missed. So remember, if there are initials through pages 1 through 9, page 10 and 11 will probably have initials as well. Now, this is actually another state's acknowledgement. So the formatting of the acknowledgement isn't wrong. This is what another state might look like, but the way that the signer's names is written is wrong. So let's look at this real quick. All right, deed of trust. 1, triple check missing dates, of course. Now this is the big one. The signer's name on the notarization must match the signature line on the document. So this notary wrote Cassidy Thompson and Tyler Thompson. What's the signature line say? Cassidy Ann and Tyler L. This is a big error we see. For one client in particular, this happens all the time. This requires you to provide a replacement acknowledgement and a FedEx label. So you're going to get your fee docked because we have to pay for a FedEx label. Now, there was another error. I should have let you, well, no, I think it's a little too late, but there is another error. Look at the expiration date. Look at the stamp. I'm going to call on someone to answer what's wrong there. Kathy, can you tell us?
Yes, the notary expiration date is wrong. It should be May 29th, 2022.
Yeah, you got it. Thanks, Kathy. This is a really common error. I see this all the time, and we have to get this corrected. And it's a real pain because another replacement notarization is going to be required. So you're in the zone, you're dating everything for 2021 because that's the year we're in, but your commission doesn't always expire the year you're in, right? So double check. Another little error that I don't know is going to get called out all the time, but your full title is notary public. I've had escrow and lenders ask for new notarizations because I've only put notary. So remember your full title there. Okay, next one. All right, brand new one. Let's see. Kathy, want to answer this one?
Yes, the notary section is not filled out.
Yeah, that's right. That's it. This one is another one of our major errors that happens, I'd say every day.
Every day.
Yeah, I don't really know why. It's just so hidden. And maybe you think, oh, it's just because it's, it's one sentence and then our notary and commission expires. But this happens every single day. Our clients get very frustrated because it's missed all the time. So keep that in mind. And if you can't see it, here's a better look. So yeah, hidden notarizations, examine the entire page. And then even up here at the top, it says state of, county of. That's part of your notarization. They just kind of separated it. Very good. All right, next up, 2 different signature name affidavits. Check them out. We'll start with the document to the left, and then we'll do the one on the right after. So let's start with the left. Kiana?
Hi, am I here
Hey.
now?
Yeah, you're here now.
Okay, cool. Well, first of all, I have to thank you because I just learned that with the touch screen, I can zoom in on the Zoom images.
Check it out. Nice.
I'm learning by the day. All right, by the minute is what I meant. Okay. So I did have a question on the previous page. Is it possible to ask
Sure.
about that first? Or
Yeah, let's go back.
okay.
This one?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was wondering, I was also kind of concerned about that, the name on the right, the signature on the right-hand side and the date going so far into the margin. Would that be considered an issue? Or
I
only
don't
on
think
the
it
other
would.
documents?
Yeah, Lisa, what do you think?
If it's a recordable document, then you're right. You'd want to kind of put the date just a little bit, maybe above the name Jackson. For this particular document, it's not recordable, it's okay. But it's a very, very good point to bring out because when recorders are recording, margins matter.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Good job.
All right.
All right. Now, signature name. You want to try this one?
Yeah, sure. So Cassidy has signed for the signature portion, but not the AKA portion. And so she would need to go through and verify if those additional variations are in fact name versions that she recognizes. And if so, she would need to print and sign that signature variation. And if it's not, then she would need to indicate never known as.
Wonderful. Beautiful, Kiana. I couldn't have said it better. Seriously, that's awesome. That's right. Exactly. Good job. All right, next up, let's go for Naomi in Florida. We're going to talk about this one to the right now.
Okay, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, this is the signature affidavit.
Uh-huh.
Okay, on this document, they signed it and go down here. Let me see, what did they put on there? I'm trying to learn how to zoom in and out too.
Now, this really has to do with the notarization bit.
That's what I was looking at down here. Notary Public, the date, the 27th, but then they put the 29th. That's her commission is the 29th, 2001. Where's her stamp?
That's it. You got it. Yeah, that's it. Missing stamp. Very good. Good job. Now, this is Elizabeth White, who's probably on here, and Thomas. That's my brother and my sister-in-law. They do quality control at one of our big clients. And this is, I don't know, one of their #1 errors, the one to the right, the missing stamp. They told me the other day, they'll see, maybe there's 3 borrowers. 2 of the 3 jurats will be stamped, and then the 3rd one won't be stamped. So this is less about experience. This is just being negligent, right? Not triple checking your work, not making sure you stamp everything. So make sure to stamp. There's also, you wouldn't have known it just by seeing this, but that commission, whoa, my computer's going nuts. Hold on. There you go. Sorry about that. The commission is wrong. So remember, my commission expires next year, 2022. I see this, several times a week where we have to get a new jurat because that commission date was wrong. So you're in the zone, 2021, double check your stamp, make sure to put 2022 or whenever it actually expires. And then Kiana really explained it perfectly on this signature name to the left. So there's this top signature. Sometimes that'll get missed too, but that's the name that has appeared on all of the documents. But then below are those variations, the names that came up on the borrower's credit report. So they have to sign exactly as that name shows, if they've ever been known by that name, or indicate otherwise, like this one, Cassidy Caitlin Thompson's, never known as, and initial. So oftentimes these will come back blank. We have to get those signed. This can hold up funding. So make sure the signer goes through each variation, signs for the ones they're known as exactly like that variation is written, or indicate never known as an initial. Sometimes the borrowers will have many aliases and there's 1 or 2 pages full. I know it's a pain, but you have to go through each one and have them signed. Good job, everyone. That was awesome. All right, here's another. Oh, go ahead, Lisa.
If Brenda Martinez is available to raise her hand and unmute herself, she has a question that I think I'm misunderstanding and would be helpful if she's able. Brenda Thompson. Is it Brenda Thompson? No.
I don't see a Brenda Thompson.
No,
Brenda
Martinez.
Leon?
I'm sorry.
Oh, Mia.
Yeah, Leon Martinez. Yeah.
Okay. All right, we're going to ask you to, oh, there you are.
There she is.
You there, Brenda? I see you're unmuted, Brenda, but I can't hear you.
Okay, well,
Okay.
since she's not answering, but I think it has to do, what she wrote originally was the deed of trust. I did not see the California verbiage, a notary public or other officer above the signature line. So should it have the stamp or acknowledgement attachment? So I think, unless Jenny, you see something other than, if you're in California and we know that we have to put our title notary public and it's not there, you can write it, or you can add your own acknowledgement for your state. So you make sure that that's added because it will be rejected. I think that's your question.
So I think that I know what it is.
Okay.
She's talking about that box that is above the notarizations. Let's see, do we have one of these? Yeah, I think I don't have one. Let me find one. So let's pull one up that has one. Right here. See this box?
There you go.
Yeah. So the truth is that, yeah, we need to have that box for documents being recorded in California. So this form, this isn't the real borrowers, right? I don't ever use real borrowers' names, but this is a acknowledgement from another state. This is the truth. If I'm a notary in California, but the property is in another state that doesn't require that box, which is no other state other than California, it won't get rejected. The county doesn't know any better. They don't care. As long as their acknowledgement is filled out and all of that information is correct on it, the county will not come back and say that California notary stamp is missed if the property is being recorded in another state. So it really doesn't matter for recording or lending purposes. The lender will never go, okay, this is an Ohio property and the notary didn't add that box, because they're only going to reference the state that they're recording the property in's requirements. But if you're a really good notary and you're aware of that requirement, absolutely either put that stamp, you can get one of those stamps online, or add in an all-purpose acknowledgement. But for the sake of this is an Ohio form. Ohio County, don't care. They don't care about that box. But if I'm being very diligent and I want to make sure that I'm complying with my state, even though this document isn't in my state, we add that stamp or add a loose acknowledgement. So very good, Brenda. I didn't bring that up, but I was wondering if someone was going to catch that. So
And she did, yeah.
very good. I love it.
Valdemitra has a question as well regarding a document you've already shown.
Okay, let's go for it. Hey, Valdemitra.
Hi, yes, I'm asking about that E&O where that sneaky little verbiage is at the bottom. Do I need to have that box there too?
So same thing as the previous form. The lender will not reject it if that stamp isn't there. So if you just like to be in the habit of making sure that stamp's there, you can either use those little stamps, buy one online for, $10, or add in an all-purpose jurat.
Okay, I usually add in the all-purpose jurat to it, but I just wanted to make sure in case I did. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But if you forget your jurats at home and you want to get it done, I'm telling you, no one is going to say, hey, where's that box? It's not being recorded. This is not a recordable document. So remember, recordable documents are deeds, riders. That's really it. Subordination agreements, warranty deeds, things like that. So the lender will not reject it if you didn't put that stamp. But if you're a good notary in California and you like to always make that your practice, add a jurat, place that stamp, you're good to go. Awesome. Good job, everybody. All right, next up, here's another right to cancel with an error, big one. Who wants to answer this one? Randy, want to give it a shot?
Sure. Give me a second. Zoom in and out.
Take your time. Yeah, take your time.
So it says the date of the transaction is August 16th.
Mm-hmm.
They have till the 19th to cancel. They dated for a day way after that. The date for the borrower should have been August 16th.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the kind of reverse of that.
Or the date should have been changed.
Yeah, exactly. So it's either these docs are super old or the borrower should have redated them. Why I included an old example is because that one that I fixed this week that cost us like $1,400. Those docs, the lender was okay with using the original docs, which were dated I don't know, maybe even like the 12th, like August 12th. So I had to go in and change those dates, and it kind of looked like this, right? It's like, wow, this is super old, but you have to remember to change those dates. So very good, Randy. Let's look at that, what that'll look like. So this is what should have happened. Signing on the 27th, change that top date from the 16th to the 27th, have the borrower initial. That pushes the right to cancel date to the 31st, and then initial. Remember, the right to cancel is your responsibility to get right. Even if the dates are entered incorrectly, you have to double check to make sure that they're correct. At the lender, if this comes back as an error, the lender is going to say this is on you. All right, here's another one. This is our Patriot Act. We have 2 different samples. So check them out. Let me know what you see. Sabrina, you want to give it a shot? We've got 2 different forms.
Hi, sure.
Hey.
Okay, so the one in the middle, is it requiring, trying to see if it's asking for 2. It says give at least 2. So we're missing one, and then that's it for that one.
Yeah, perfect. That's exactly right. Good job. Do you want to try the other one? All right. Let's see. Sabrina, you want to try this other one? If not, no big deal. Just don't unmute.
Sure.
Oh, there you are.
Sure. Sorry.
No.
It says that you have to complete a separate form for each borrower. So it only requires one form of identification.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing that the information is not completed there's no information, but they signed at the bottom.
Uh-huh. And who signed at the bottom?
But the wrong person signed. The notary should sign with their title. And
Yeah.
then they have no information they don't have any information. They didn't fill it out.
That's right. You got it. That's right. Perfect. Very good. So the Patriot Act generally does not require the borrower to sign. In fact, only one lender, that same lender that's super, super picky, asks them to sign. But for the most part, only the notary signs, don't have the borrower sign. And when I see this error, let me go back. When I see this error and the borrower is signed and it's blank, I know that notary is a new signing agent, right? That's a new signing agent right there, because that form's for you. So fill it in, have the borrower sign, or excuse me, don't have the borrower sign. That's for you to sign. Oops, sorry about that. All right, and then that second one, 2 forms of ID. This is another error that comes back to us all the time. It may not delay funding, but it will get brought up in their audit. So when the lender audits the file, they'll see this will require the notary to go back out or fill this in.
Every day.
Yeah, every day
Every day we get these back, every day.
Yeah, very good. Every lender is different. That's another thing we want to remember, that every lender is different. So while one lender only wants 1 form of ID, another lender will want 2. So check, just like our Sabrina told us, 2 forms, 1 form. Very good. All right, next up is the note. So this is the most important document in the set for the borrower. What's wrong with this note? Okay, let's see. Let's try for Andrew. You there, Andrew?
Yes, I am.
Nice.
So for this one, who's the person who signed who put their name in and signed?
Yeah, that's a good point. Who is that person? Absolutely. That's the error. Thank you, Andrew. Let's look at why it's an error. So yeah, here's the note. There's a name that's pre-printed, right? And then all of a sudden Omar comes in and signs his name and prints his name on the note. So the note is the form that lists who is obligated to pay back the loan. You would never want to have a non-borrowing person or spouse sign that form if it doesn't list their name. Do not add names and signatures to forms unless you are specifically asked by the contracting company, escrow, or the lender, which is very rare. Yesterday, we actually had that situation where a form didn't have the signer's name and escrow asked us to have it pre-printed, but it's rare. It's not going to happen every day. If you have a non-borrower sign and print their name on the note, it's going to get re-signed. It may require a full re-sign, which happened this week, where the notary thought, oh, it must have been an error that so-and-so, the borrower's husband is not signing the document. So let me have them sign and put their name just in case they need it. No, don't do that. You're going to have an issue later on down the line. You're going to need to get re-signed or everything redrawn. So only have the people whose names are pre-printed sign the documents. If you see that a signer is on the deed, but not on the note, that's most likely not an error. Most likely what it is that one person is on title or on the deed is a non-borrowing person. So they have the greatest part of being a homeowner. They're on the property's deed. So they're an owner of the property, but they're not on the note, which means they're not obligated to pay back the loan. So there's a reason why if someone's name is not on the note, but it's on the deed. So this happens all the time, and we want to not have that happen as much as we can help it. All right, well, that's the end of our actual documents. You guys did so good. I'm so impressed with you. If you didn't catch those errors, keep watching our videos. Keep asking those questions. Before we sign off from our presentation and go into our Q&A, let's go over some points that will help you as a signing agent avoid errors. So the best way to avoid errors is to prevent them. And how can you do that? Triple check your documents. Prior to shipping, go through them 3 times. We suggest while you're signing, you triple check the documents. Before you leave, you take time, you say, give me a second, borrowers. I did that the other day, that signing on a boat I did. Borrower was in a rush. But after we signed everything I said, give me 2 minutes to make sure that everything's perfect because I don't want any issues later on down the line. So even though I felt that pressure because this borrower was like jonesing to leave because he had to get on the road, very busy man, I took the time to make sure nothing was missed. And I actually found that I missed an initial. So I was happy that I caught that right before I left. And then before you ship the documents, you're also checking them. So I would say at the signing table, when you're in your car and before you ship, that's 3 checks. You want to beware of overconfidence. One of our notaries that actually works with us in quality control, she became a notary. She's one of the best notaries. She's recently started making mistakes. She's around that time, about 6 months into being a notary. She's been really good. So she's starting to think that she's really good. And that's when the errors come. So you want to always be paranoid. That's something that I tell our team at Coast to Coast with their work. And I tell notaries, always be paranoid, assume you're going to miss something. And that forces you to slow it down and do the work of triple checking your documents. Beware of overconfidence. Another note is to communicate any issues at the signing table. So just like we saw in some of those what's wrong here status updates, if the borrower refuses to sign a form, call the contracting company, put that information in the notes. You want to make sure it's in writing, because what will happen later on down the line if you don't is that the escrow company will get the docs, they'll identify an error, they'll come to you and say, you made this error, get it fixed. And now you're going to have to say, oh, actually the borrower refused to sign that. But if you said that ahead of time, then that communication is really quick, right? Escrow tells us, we tell them, or escrow's already aware of it because we told them when it happened. So communication is huge. And then when an error is made, because no matter how great of a notary you are, you're going to make errors. It's all about your attitude. It's how you fix it. So take accountability and fix the error immediately. Do not delay in getting this done, scanning them back, because delays mean rate lock extensions, and that costs our signers money and it costs our clients money. And a lot of time it costs Coast to Coast money. So just like I said, we're paying $1,400 to close a job when we were going to make 50. So how many signings do we have to do to make up for that 1,400 that we lost because of a notary error? So it's all about your attitude and fixing them. You don't need to grovel. Don't be overly embarrassed. Just, I'm sorry, I'm getting it done. What does it take to get it fixed? That accountability is huge. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I might be real frustrated about an error and I go to the notary and explain the situation, and their reaction can make me their partner, right? I can all of a sudden go, I love that notary, because even though they made an error, they jumped to fix it. They're a favorite. I'm going to use them for all my work because they fixed it and they didn't pass the buck. They didn't place the blame somewhere else. They didn't get defensive and angry. They just said, what does it take to fix it? I'll do it. And now I'm their brand advocate, right? I'm going to say, use that notary. They're great. And then lastly, communicate with us. We're here for you. Email your questions to training@c2csignings.com. You can email Lisa at c2csignings.com or Virginia at c2csignings.com. You also have our numbers. You can text me at 909-833-5351. Don't call. You can text. Don't call. I probably won't answer. I get a lot of calls all day, and most of the time I'm dealing with clients. But feel free to text my number, 909-833-5351, and communicate with us. That's the best thing. We're here for you. We're your partners. We need you as much as you need us, maybe not even more. We need you even more.